So, voice actors, keyword being actors. Um, when you fight to, you know, this character is this race, so only people of that race can voice them. You get a lot of problems. And the problem here with Avatar is the fact that there are really no races, they're nations. We have no idea what kind of race, Sokka and Katara are. I mean, they look like they'd be Eskimos, but doesn't mean that's what they may be based on. But in that world, they're part of nations. They're part of nations, not a certain group of people. So, there's that. But Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender casting director admits casting decisions were made due to woke ideology and DEI policies. Jenny Jue, the casting director for Paramount's upcoming animated film, The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender, admitted she cast the film due to woke ideology and DEI policies. During an Ask Me Anything on the movie subreddit, Jue was asked, "Is there any reason you guys decided not to bring the original cast back for their ultimate nostalgia trip? Considering how much older everyone is, like when they were first doing the show, they were all kids for the most part. Now that they're being portrayed as adults, Aang being an adult, their voices surely could be kept because they still have those voices. They're just older, so they sound more mature, which what they would sound like in the show anyway. So they could have easily brought back any of the actors, at least who wanted to, who had the time to. But instead, oh well, let's not do that. Um, we've got this. I told Mike and Brian that I understand how important it was to get this right for them and for the fans because I'm a fan too. Also, my favorite IP. Since the original show was released, there's been more emphasis in voice actors to match voiceovers to match actors. Actors' ethnic racial backgrounds and to characters they're portraying. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a fictional world, but there are cultural influences for each nation and kingdom, and we wanted to explore the talent from those groups. They basically pulled this. You know, uh Pro ZD or whatever his name is. And I think this is the dude who was complaining about Apu from The Simpsons. So this dude who's like, "Oh yeah, I think Asians should be given Asian roles." And then guess what? He gets nothing but stereotypical Asian roles. Oh well, he has to do a funny voice. That's a stereotypical. Yeah, and then he's asking his Asian and managers like, "Oh, where are all the roles?" You're the one who said that people need to voice the roles that they are. So if the character is Asian, you're gonna get an Asian role. Because especially in anime, they're just kind of white. Especially in English dubs. They're not really Japanese in English dubs. They're white. So if you have a character who's drawn to look Asian, guess what? You're gonna get that role instead. Kind of like Brock. You know, people were mad that he looked like a stereotypical, portrayal of an Asian person, despite the fact that he was made in Japan. Um, so if that was the case, then he would have been cast as Brock because it's like, oh well, everyone else is technically white because it's an English dub. So this more stereotypical looking Asians, those are the ones that he'll be cast to, and then he complains about it. And again, this is the dude I think about Apu, who's like, oh, Apu, he should be voiced by an actual Indian American and not by Hank Azaria because when no one ever had a problem with Apu or his voice. Despite how over the top some of the voices are on The Simpsons, Apu was a pretty good representation He was a great character, showing basically what everyone has in their mind as the American dream. The guy comes over to the country, works hard, finds success, has a family, is loved in the community. No one had a problem with this guy, but then this dude's like, oh, I don't think a white man should be voicing Apu anymore. And then, of course, Hank Azaria and all of them bend the knee, like, oh, we won't, I won't be voicing Apu anymore because it's culturally not right. I can't say much more about the I can't say much more about it in about it the film. I can't say much more about it the film, except that I'm really proud of this cast, and I hope other. Again, it's like the characters. They might look a certain way, but none of them have distinct accents. So it's like, who cares about the voice behind it? Like, Aang could be voiced by a black dude for all we care, as long as it sounds like Aang. But you see them and you don't get any hint of any specific race. You can get maybe from how they're dressed, but they don't really look a specific race. Their skin colors are just a little different. Other than that, they all look the same. So going out of your way to like, oh well, we need to hire dark-skinned voice actors to voice Katara and Sokka, and we have to voice. Did they bring in a blind chick to voice for Toph? I mean, are we going to that extent? What about Zuko, who is physically altered? Are they finding someone who resembles more of Zuko to voice him? Not just in race and ethnicity, but in physical appearance, because this is suffering abuse. Are they finding abuse survivors to voice Zuko because of this? I mean, but they have a blind chick voicing Toph. The whole thing is just ridiculous. It's why it's called voice acting. Okay, acting. You are acting with your voice. Just like how most times, more times than not, when you see children or elderly people in anime or in animation, they're not actually voiced by children or the elderly. They're voiced by grown women. Well, the kids are voiced by grown women. Look at the Rugrats. Rugrats, all the kids were voiced by women. What elderly people, it's just, it's just younger people doing a deeper, more gritty voice. Or the, I love me some boobies. Just old younger people doing elderly. What? I don't understand what you're saying. Can you speak up, please? Just doing that. It's voice acting. So they're not hiring real elderly people or kids to voice them. It's the voice actors doing the voices. And to go out of your way to try to find the perfect for again, you can't tell what race they are. They all look the same apart from what they're wearing. They're separated by nations, not races. The funny part about Sung Wong Cho is that he is starting to complain that he isn't getting jobs for this exact reason. Yeah, again, he was like, Asian people should be voicing Asian characters. But then again, you look at anime. Do they really look Asian? No, they look white. You'll have that one goofy looking character that's drawn as like a stereotypical caricature of an Asian, or the old wise mentor, and those are the roles he's getting. And then he bitches and complains that he's not getting anything. Well, then maybe you shouldn't have opened your mouth, dude. Maybe you shouldn't have opened your mouth and said, "Oh, only Asian people should be playing Asian roles." Like, hang on. Like, here's one of the tropes: the bigger guy who tends to look more like Japanese and all the other characters. Also, something like this. but you'll have a bunch of characters who are drawn to look more Japanese, more Asian than anything else. And those are the voices or characters that he's getting. Soichiro Yagami, such a great character. That dude is just awesome. Um, like this, dude, he's drawn to look more Asian than the other characters, just by the features, the way his hair is, the eyes, how they're drawn, as opposed to, other anime characters. But it's not surprising at all. Casting director Sophie Holland, who has done work on Netflix's Wednesday, The Witcher, Shadow and Bone, as well as Prime Video's The Peripheral, had previously admitted back in 2023 she used her position to push her ideology and political worldview because we can't just have good things anymore. Everything has to be activism. In an interview as part of Janelle Riley's Acting Up newsletter that's subsequently published by Variety, Holland said, "You can affect change in whatever tiny way because you are in people's homes and they're watching this world." And that sort of solidified when I was a child. He's when I had a child. She's 5 now, and I thought how hard it is to be right. So this woman who is in a position of power wants to talk about how hard it is to be a girl. Make it make sense. Even when they are on top of the world, they still want to think they're fucking oppressed. All because, oh no, I can't kill my unborn child because whatever reason. Because I refuse to accept responsibility for opening my legs and willingly letting a man jizz inside me. I don't want to accept responsibility, so I'd rather just kill it. But oh no, the evil, mean people in charge won't let me do that. Apart from that, this person's making more money than any of us ever will. But keep talking about how you're oppressed. I remember thinking I have to help her because she's going to come under attack, just like I did. Just because she's a girl. Maybe she'll be lucky and get to 9 before somebody calls her a bitch. Oh no! Calling her a bitch? You do know that men are called names way more than that, right? Constantly. But we don't get special treatment. We're just told to buck up and be a man. Grow a pair and get over it. And it made me so sad that she was going to experience that, and I couldn't protect her from that. But what I could do is change the way people see women through casting. I could make them powerful and empowering. And then no. No. That's like telling a true racist not to be racist. You're not going to change their mind. Women the people who genuinely hate women are not going to change just because they see something on TV. They're not going to change just because they see something in a movie. You can tell them and sit there and preach to them like, oh, women are strong and powerful and you need to respect them. Doesn't mean they're going to. They're not going to because they don't care. Instead, they're preaching to the people who are just like, hey, can you guys stop with the DEI stuff? We don't have a problem with female representation, but this girl boss shit that you guys are constantly trying to do, it's getting old. It's okay to be feminine. It's okay to be beautiful. It's okay to be feminine. What is with the girl boss thing? And then we're the ones who get told that we hate women. Again, it's like telling a racist, like an actual racist, a person who's out there slinging slurs around left and right like it's fucking candy, trying to convince them. You know you're not going to be able to, and so instead they try to convince the people who aren't actually racist. But if you say something, then they'll accuse you of being racist. It's ridiculous. This is what happens when you hire activists. And these people are supposed to be intelligent, but clearly the logic is just, it doesn't compute for them. They can't think beyond their own fucking personal bullshit. She then started. She then shared how she applies this to all her jobs. I do apply this theory, a film theory, and cut to everything, and it makes me push boundaries a little harder because I think representation is important, not just for women, but then when the minorities are overly portrayed and overly, then it's not they're not minorities anymore, are they? If you have a show, if you're making a show and then you're making everyone a minority except for like one or two people, then they're not minorities anymore. Then the white people are now the minority. When you have a country that's slowly becoming less white, you're not the minority anymore. Where you have a group of people and it seems like every kid that comes out nowadays is fucking gay or trans or bi, you're not the minority anymore. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Like, people have different physical abilities, and I think it's important they're seen in strong and fierce roles. Well, guess what? Not all of them are fierce and strong. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to not know what to do. But these people are making Mary Sue type characters where they're perfect in every fucking way. They put men in their place. Everything they do, they can do no wrong. They can easily excel in everything. That's not a fun character. You want a character you can relate to, a character that has flaws, a character who has character development. Not just a woman who's like, oh, I can kick all the men's asses and do this and this and that. And I could also be a mother because I'm a strong, powerful woman. Actually, no, they don't want mothers. They don't want strong mothers. They just want women to put men in their place. And I don't think I need to be held down by children or a husband if I don't want to. And realizing this was a real moment of falling in love with my craft in a way that feels very special to me. She even went on to explain that how she did this with the casting of Yennefer in the Witcher series. I am always the first to champion diversity in all its glory. One that springs to mind was the character of Yennefer in The Witcher. Lauren Schmidt Hiesrich is the showrunner, and we work so well together, and she's so open to conversations. Yeah, because she thinks exactly the same way you do. So it probably wasn't much of a discussion. In the book, she's described as the most beautiful woman in the world. This was a few years ago, and I like to think things have changed. But when you think about people's unconscious bias, especially in the fantasy world, it felt like these worlds were predominantly white. And I remember saying, I feel like we need to challenge what people think of as the standard of beauty. And having a woman of color in this role does incredibly powerful things to people watching. Because it's not about telling a story, it's about pushing a fucking agenda. This is why you don't hire activists. The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender was announced back in June 2022 as the first three films with director Lauren Montgomery attached. Original Avatar co-creators, Brian, not even going to bother, uh, Konietzko, and Michael DiMartino are also attached and producing the film. Paramount and Nickelodeon Animation president Ramsey Naito said at the time, as original creators Mike and Brian are expanding the Avatar universe with us, we're keeping it all in the family with... I'm sorry, that's all in the family. With Lauren bringing the same kind of expert, beautiful work she did on the original series to her new directing duties on the forthcoming theatrical. Actress Janet Varney, who voiced Korra in the Legend of Korra sequel, revealed the film would focus on Aang and his friends as adults. She said the first feature-length movie focuses on Avatar Aang and his friends. A year later, Paramount revealed at CinemaCon that Aang, Katara, Sokka, Zuko, and Toph would be in their late 20s and early 30s for the film. The cast currently lists Eric Nam as Aang, Jessica Matten as Katara, Dante Bosco Like, they clearly got Rufio back. Like, that is Zuko right there. Rufio. Yes, for people, Dante Bosco was Rufio in Hook. Um, Roman Zaragoza as Sokka, and Dion Kwan as Toph Bei Fong. This is completely different from the original animated show. Aang was played by Zach Tyler Eisen, Mae Whitman voiced Katara, Jack DeSena played Sokka, and Michael Michelea Jill Murphy played Toph. Dante Bosco is yeah, like I said, he is Zuko. Michelea, I think is that his name, Michelea. Michelea Jill Murphy is Toph. Um, I've always been woke. See Quora. This replacement of a talented cast is yet another disrespect to the original Avatar. Hey, is it possible to reverse watch something so that it cosmically negates the metaphysical impact of it? No. Explore, push boundaries, change the way people see are now cliche buzz phrases of people engaging in social lecturing. Whenever I see the like in movies or games, I avoid it. Yeah, I mean, again, this whole well, the voices need to match the person. Again, look at them. Can you tell me distinctively what race they are? Just by their looks, not by how they're dressed. If they were all stripped down to their underwear, would you be able to tell me what race they are? So why should it matter about getting people who resemble the character more like culturally and ethnically? Why should it matter? It's voice acting. And just as this friggin' ass clown has found out, maybe you shouldn't be limiting people in voice acting roles. Maybe it shouldn't be we wanted to get people of the same race and color. Maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Maybe you shouldn't be doing it. But good luck. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.